I'm absolutely dying to ask you our 4 questions.
Cool.
4 questions for our viewers, just so you know, is engaging with inspirational leaders and asking them 4 pertinent questions to have some meaningful debate and conversations around these various themes.
We always say, and there's a lot of research around this, that the higher performing organisations are the most aligned organisations. And the research normally says about like 80% of the difference of performance between 2 companies can be explained by the lack of alignment.
Pedagogy is kind of a relationship between the students, the teachers, and the curriculum. When we talk about digital pedagogy, what we're saying is, how do we make use of digital tools in the context of that understanding?
I actually think that leaders are kind of born to a certain extent.
I think knowing what you're good at and what you're not so good at is really important as a leader. So you either create the ability to be able to do it through the creation of time or by delegation or whatever the case may be, and then leaning on other people as part of your wider team. When you are really weak at something or you just don't have that expertise.
In this country, we see female politicians embodying that male persona, because that's how they feel they can get ahead or get along. And I think it's brave not to, and it does pay dividends. And I think in my experience, it's been really well received and well responded to. I think it might be women themselves who've taken on the need to be like that.
Leadership is quite contextual. So how you need to, and we can go on to what is leadership. That's the fast thing. No one ever knows. But I think even down to defining what type of leader that you need to execute your strategy.
First, notion of trust is I think the most important one. There's nothing more unbearable than to work in an atmosphere of mistrust.
The future for work and education is about agility, but also about inclusive practice. Using technologies to make the workplace and to make education more accessible.
I think one of the things I've had to develop the most is that sort of visionary or strategic thinking, really, because running a business as is very different to running a business that you want it to be.
I wasn't even involved in the booking or the partnership or anything. So as a leader, I was able to just go, okay, I created a team who have done this and made it happen.
Listening is not a natural skill. And when I talk about listening, I'm not talking about just sitting quietly while someone's speaking. That's the most superficial level of listening. Listening is helping people go deeper into their thoughts and help them expand their ideas in a profound way.
I also feel that in order to be successful, sometimes you need some particular skills in different industries and different ways of working.
How do we make best use of technology to kind of get rid of the mundane things we do as humans, but actually then it frees up time for the more important human-to-human interactions?
It's great to nurture people internally. But I think it depends on where you start with this, because again, when we come back to psychometric testing, if you've got someone in the business that has certain strengths and talent, it doesn't mean to say that they're going to be absolutely fantastic in a different role.
You can't really underestimate the learning potential and the power in having people to talk to about where you're at in your journey, who aren't necessarily your direct reports, because they don't want to hear that you're running out of money and they don't want to hear where you're at in your investment round, but you need someone to chat to on that level.
I've always worked in businesses where people are really central. Whilst they've been technology businesses, you just couldn't achieve anything or really succeed without the aid of the people around you.
When is it important to be together? When is it important to be online? And when is it important to do things synchronously or asynchronously?